Well, hello everyone. Neji, don't show your butthole to the internet. Anyway, welcome back to my channel. Yes, it has been a long time. It's been a minute since I ever made a YouTube video. Now, we are going to be getting a little treat today. Yes, you guys are gonna get my favorite little thing, and that is internet ranting about a TV show. Trust me, I normally do it in my room alone by myself, and my poor babies back here have to hear me talk about a TV show, or I'm on Discord in BC ranting about a movie or TV show that I'm watching. I'm very exciting, I promise. I decided to give you a treat and talk about the new season of King of the Hill. Now, fun fact, I actually went to the pop-up event at Comic-Con. It's on my Instagram. Click it. It's in the description. Click it. Personally, I was super excited knowing that King of the Hill is coming back. I actually was so excited to hear that season 14 got approved, and we are going to get a season 15. We just don't know when it's gonna release. We just know it's gonna come eventually. Now, I do want to say that before getting into the show, I want to just reiterate and tell you guys this, that King of the Hill is definitely my comfort show growing up. So, trauma dump, but when I was like 16 to 17, actually no, 16 to 18, I was homeless and I was living motel to motel at the time, or I was sleeping on a park bench. But when I was in the motels, when I was living in there, King of the Hill was one of those TV shows that was one of the shows that we would see on the motel TV, and personally that was my favorite part of the night, was after taking a little shower in that ugly hotel bathroom. I think that's why I don't like them. I would go down, sit down with all my siblings, and we would watch King of the Hill on the motel TV, and that was probably like core memory for me. Like, I still think about it to this day, and I'm like, yeah, that was a nice time. That was a nice time. A little traumatic, but it was a nice time. I will say it was the one show that I grew up watching a lot as a teenager, that I felt the most connection, and I honestly felt that Hank Hill was like my TV dad growing up. I felt that there was a lot of things, you know, my own parents that was non-existent wasn't able to teach me, that I felt like Hank was able to teach me. Something I do want to say before we get into this breakdown is, honestly, I'm not going to do a discussion on each episode. I'm just going to do a breakdown of the entire season and my personal thoughts. However you may feel, however you may think about the season, that is your opinion. Please feel free to drop it in the comments below. But this is my opinion. This is my time to shine, not yours. If you want to shine, go make your own video. Another one I do want to mention is I am not an animator. So I saw a couple comments on Instagram. Just want to also say I don't have a TikTok. So you're not going to hear about TikTok. But I have Instagram. And I saw on Instagram that everyone was complaining animations and how it didn't compare to the original season. I'm not in the field to give that opinion, so I'm not going to, I guess, debate it. That's your own opinion if you feel that way. I personally felt like I liked the animations. I liked what they did. It was a good animation. But again, I'm not the person that you should be listening to about animations. I don't know anything to do with animations at all, so yeah. But starting off with the first two episodes, I definitely want to say that Bobby Hill is an adorable character. I actually really like what they're doing with his adult version. I like how they're navigating his career. I also like that we do get to see how Hank's influence has played into Bobby's life. The fact that Bobby takes on Hank's spirit of wanting to be this hardworking, industrious man. I love it. I love that he has his own restaurant. I love that he's created his own fusion joint, and the way that he's so like against going to college. he just knows that this is his career, this is the life that he wanted. I feel like I'm seeing mini Hank. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like that's like mini Hank with like propane. Bobby's propane is cooking. Okay? That's his propane that I feel like is being shown to us throughout the episodes. But I also do like that we get Joseph as his roommate, and Joseph was one of my favorite characters throughout the season. Joseph and I think Willow were the two characters I did like. I do wish we could have seen a little bit more of Willow. I feel like they kind of cut her off like in what, 2 episodes and she was out. Like, I feel like maybe they should have did a little bit more development there, but I do understand why they did. Maybe she'll come back in the future. I feel like she was a great character that I feel like we should have kept in the series, but to each their own, to each. Now, one of the big things I did notice throughout the episodes, or just the whole season itself, is that King of the Hill did a really great job discussing topics that are like hot topics in our IRL lives as of today. For example, we got to see how Bobby established the fact that he's not really into dating sites. Who the fuck is? That Bobby was not really into dating sites, and that when it comes to women, we all know Bobby is a catch. We know he knows how to woo the ladies. There's no problem there. We saw it throughout the whole series. But we did see that, I thought it was really sweet how he basically said that his soulmate is someone he'll meet in person. He personally feels like she's somewhere out there. And then the camera points to Connie, and I'm like, so cute, so cute. I was like so in love with that. I thought that was so cute. I was like, and the fact they did karaoke and they showed like their, what is it called, their times when they were younger. Oh my gosh, I was in love. I was in love with that. I thought that was the cutest thing in the world. I was like, thank you so much. Like, there's a lot of episodes where you kind of see how a lot of old seasons tie into this one, and I really like how they did that. Like, I was just so in love with that whole idea. I was like, oh my gosh, this is adorable. Something else throughout the season that I also did really appreciate is that we got to see the golden age that Peggy and Hank are having through their retirement, and you see that throughout the years they're starting to feel this sense of they don't belong in the world anymore. They don't know what their purpose is. And I love that there's so many different episodes of Hank trying out different things, whether being a handyman, being a soccer coach, and even the fact that Hank fell in love with soccer because he was stationed in Saudi Arabia. I thought that was so cute. I was like, oh my gosh, how adorable. But I do love how they talk on the topic of growing old together and learning that once you're out of working, what is your actual purpose? It actually shows you that, you know, as adults, we're constantly evolving and we're constantly dealing with things that even in our older ages, we thought that we know ourselves, but do we actually know who we are outside of work? And I genuinely thought that that was really sweet that we got to see that side of Hank and Peggy just open up and break down and just kind of have that emotional bonding that we've always been wanting them to have throughout the show. Because we all know who Hank is. Hank is like, I don't want to say he's like stoic, but he's that character where definitely he was taught to hold in his emotions. He was taught not to show it. And I thought that it was really cute throughout the series. Like, just this season, that Hank was showing a lot more emotion and showing his true self and being able to express those emotions more better than he has throughout the previous seasons. I mean, I even think season 13 he did a really good job at doing that, but I think season 14 we finally see Hank in his older days finally coming to terms about who he is as a person. And I also like that there was a lot more affection scenes with Hank and Peggy. I feel like that was so needed. We never really got to see that in the previous seasons, and I like that we finally did in this one. It was just adorable, and it was so refreshing to see, you know, the TV mom and dad be in love with each other even after all these years. And according to the series, they've been married for like 29 years. I'm not really good on how old they are, but I do appreciate that we did get to see that. So what I did like is, I know I have some gripes about the show being 30 minutes, but that's okay. I like to blame it as a Hulu thing, but I also think that's because all the other episodes were 30 minutes. I do like cat. Say that the one thing I did like that they did differently is they actually showed a more humanly side to Peggy instead of the typical like narcissistic crazy side that we saw throughout the last few seasons. Like, I feel like the first beginning season she was cool, but then I think like the middle seasons she got kind of annoying, and she was kind of like that one character where I was like, Peggy, can you just leave everyone alone? Like, why are you involving yourself in all of this? Like, I feel like they really changed her character and they did a better job at explaining her and kind of just explaining her mindset. But I also do like that they did show a more humanly side, showing that Peggy actually struggles with anxiety. She may not say it out loud because she always wants to put on this like strong front, but she does have anxiety. And I thought that was really sweet. As a anxiety girly myself, I'm just like, me too, girl, me too. And I also really liked how they handled panic attacks. It was such a sweet touch. I was just like, oh, Miss Peggy. Another thing that I also did like the show did was the fact that they did a really good time like separating the time with expressing different things throughout the groups. Like, for example, they focused on the moms, they focused on their retirement, to also just kind of how Hank and the guys are. Like, I love that there were different episodes focusing on different groups throughout the series. It just genuinely felt like I was rewatching The King of the Hill that I originally watched when I was so much younger. And I'm glad that they did a good job at being able to dive a little bit more deeper into those stories instead of just having them as background characters. Now they actually kind of felt like they were a part of the story, which I actually really liked. That was a good touch to the creators that I'm gonna actually give them a kudos for. Something I did see a lot on the internet, something that I did see that was kind of mentioned like a couple times, like 2 years ago, it was like a big thing during the elections, is everyone was saying that Trump would have voted, that Hank would have voted for Trump. But if you actually watch the show, you would know that even though Hank is a Republican, he's a good man and a dad first. So my general opinion, I don't think Hank would have voted for Trump. Trump's not even a New Yorker. I mean, Trump's a New Yorker. Hank would never vote for a New Yorker. Like, be so for real right now. And it's even like stated in like, I think the 3rd episode where he makes a comment how Obama was born in Hawaii. So Hank takes into consideration people's states and he's like, ew, would never. So I just kind of want to make that reiteration to remember that Hank is not a MAGA Republican. He's an old time Republican. There's one episode I did want to highlight, and it was episode 9 when Hank takes GH to a man's man conference. Yeah, you heard me, a man's man conference, where they teach you how to be a man. That females are the problem of this society, and that's why they reject men, and that's why they don't like them. I do like that Hank actually took down this controversy, especially since this is a very famous controversy that's happening online, where it's constantly pushed, where men are seeing things of these podcast bros like Andrew Tate, Logan Paul, all those losers, where they're talking so much down on women and they're just saying all these nasty things to basically feed the minds of these vulnerable and young, or just men in general who don't have guidance and need that guidance, and they're getting the guidance from the wrong person. Another one too that's highlighted in that episode is a lot of these young and vulnerable men are looking at a man-child instead of looking at an actual man. And I think that's where the problem is coming from, is they're getting advice from these man-childs instead of getting advice from actual men who have successful relationships, who have been in their position before, and who know how to respect women as individuals. And I think that Hank made a fair point throughout that episode, that it's really unfair for them to treat women that way and expect women to want to date them if they're only seeing them as objects and they're calling them bitches, when in reality they just have their own individuality and they just don't feel that way for you. And I really like how Hank was able to stop that from GH becoming that type of person just because he was seeing it in the media. And I feel like that is such an important lesson, especially with today's society and the parenting that's going on with the youth in the comment sections. If you think I'm kidding, I'm actually gonna make another video about that, but that is for another topic. Another episode that actually really helped a lot, that really spoke to me, was episode 7, when it was about Con and Min's divorce and how it was kind of like a secret in the beginning. Like, Hank was just kind of keeping on the low, and the fact that later it was revealed because of like Bobby and Connie accidentally saying it out loud on camera. Whoopsie, spoiler, watch this episode. And I really like how it showed the idea in Asian culture how we have a really hard time with our failures. When it comes to failure, that's definitely one of the topics that nobody talks about. Nobody likes talking about it. Nobody likes bringing it up because we don't know how to process it. We don't know how to be a failure. We don't know how to process being a failure. It's definitely one of those things in the culture that is hard to take in consideration and accept as a person, because we're taught so strongly to be successful and to be number one. But because we're taught that, it ends up leading to burnouts. It ends up leading to not being able to stabilize yourself as a person and stand on neutral ground. You know what I mean? It's okay if you don't. I get it. I talk a lot. I do like how at the end of the episode, Con felt like he lost like his whole community. He felt like he lost his whole identity. And look who comes to rescue him. Because if you remember in season 13, Con actually had a manic episode, and we got to see that Min was actually taking care of him. And I think the main reason they broke up is because she was tired of taking care of his ass. Like, in all honesty, he had depression. He had manic depression. And Hank got to see that, and I thought that was really cute at the end, that it was him, Bill, and all the guys rolling their little beers, and they're like, hey, I know we kind of screwed up your 30th anniversary, but you want to hang out with us? We'll be your community. You're not alone. You got us, partner. And I thought it was weird how, of course, Con being Con saw that and was like, hell no. Hell no. I'm not being a part of y'all. And then shut the garage door. Because I feel like that's the most Con thing in the world. Con would definitely do that no matter what. That man has too much pride. Anyone who has watched the show knows he has too much pride. He always wants to seem like he's number one, but in reality, all the guys are kind of just looking at him like, okay. Who asked? Who are you? But there are episodes that do show that they do like Con. It's just, he grows on you. He grows on you. It's super cute. But it was the use of social media, and you got to see how it was used with the newer generation, which is Bobby, Joseph, and Connie, and then Hank and the guys with Peggy and Min and Nancy, how they're using the Neighbor app, and how the younger kids are using like Instagram, TikTok, all that stuff. Like, it's so cute just kind of seeing the diversity in the ages and kind of seeing how everyone is like interacting with social media. I also like that they show YouTube comments and like comments being made. Like, there were a couple times I was watching on Hulu that I had to stop the episode just to read what people were saying in the comments, because you know how it is. They show it and then it disappears and then it's gone, and I'm like, no, where is it? I will definitely say that that was something that I thought was really unique, and I really like that they added that to the show because it brought it to the recent current events that's happening now. And I also do like that if you pay attention to the theme song, you can see what happened before the current time skip. So if you just, I think I'm gonna link the video that I watched, but I believe it's this YouTuber named Johnny. He did a really good job on discussing the whole like theory along with debunking the theme song and what happens in the theme song, so that you guys can understand it and you guys can see the show. But yeah, I can't fucking talk. Fuck. After so many seasons of it being gone, I am so happy the king is back. I'm so happy We have this new season, and I'm really happy that season 15 is going to come out. We just don't know when. I want to say rest in peace to all the voice actors who did pass away throughout this series. You guys did an amazing job picking up after the pieces for those who aren't able to continue the series for us. I'm not gonna lie, I'm gonna miss Luann and Lucky. I feel like Luann played such a dear and like sweet part to the show. Like, she genuinely was one of the characters I loved so much. She was that girl that every time she came on, I would see her and I'm like, Uncle Hank. Really random stuff she would just say that would always get me. Like, you would see her come on and the first thing shut the fuck up. Anyway, she was like the ball of sunshine you just love. Like, I love the fact that she'd come on the scene and all you would hear is Uncle Hank, oh Lucky. Like, I love Luann. I miss her so much. I miss her. And rest in peace to Brittany Murphy and to all the voice actors who passed away during the making of King of the Hill. Now we've officially reached the end of my commentary. Thank you for watching me rant online. It's like my favorite thing to do in my room. But I do want to say a special thank you to everyone who's been supporting me on my YouTube journey, especially with my shorts. You guys have honestly made me feel more comfortable to start making YouTube videos again and honestly get back on here and just be a part of it. I just want to say, as someone who likes to just make videos in general, I'm not gonna fit your cup of tea. In fact, I may not be your favorite creator, but I'm gonna be myself. That's all I can ever offer you guys. And if you do want to support me and my journey, please give a like and subscribe, and I hope to see you in the next video. Well, with all that being said, I hope you guys enjoy the rant, and I hope you guys comment below about what was your favorite thing this season. What were some things that you honestly wish that they would have talked about in this season? And also, I hope that we get to see season 15. I hope we get some more news about it. Until then, I wish you all the best, and I hope for a very blessed day for you guys. Bye, babies.